I got from this to this in about 10 weeks, and I'm going to tell you how, without wrecking your health, losing a shit ton of strength, losing muscle, and feeling like shit. Let's go. So how I got shredded. Step 1. Smart kilocaloric deficit. Obviously, I didn't lose about 4 kilograms of pure fat by just sitting on my ass. I was eating about 4,300 kilocalories during my bulk, and my peak weight was 86.5, which is my heaviest recorded, which is about 190 pounds, and I am 175 centimeters, or 5'9", and I never was as big as that. So, in order to maintain that condition that I had to eat that much. I never went too soft or too fat for 2 reasons. First, I have a terrible appetite, and second, I'm pretty lean by nature. So, going extra fat for me is not necessarily normal or natural. So, this was the result of lean bulking, as we say, and it was not something as dirty than dirty bulking, for example. And so that was my starting point. Pretty sure that I was around 12 to 13% body fat at that time. I'm not really sure. Obviously, I was pretty airy and I had a lot of water retention. So who knows? I never did the DEXA scan for now. But I do believe this was around that range that I was. After just coming back to maintenance at about 3,500 to 800 kilocalories, I was already down 2 kilograms. And those 2 kilograms were obviously very easy to remove, as it was mostly water retention, I believe, and also just the real overlay of fat that really did not need and that my body was not accustomed upon, plus the fact that I shaved. All of that actually worked quite well because these 2 kilograms immediately improved my look and I was better able to assess my physical condition and my shape, seeing what was pretty good, what had progressed, what still needed some work. 2 months in and I dropped another kilogram very easily by just dropping kilocalories on my off day. It is something that I do a lot with my trainees as well, and it is a pretty smart strategy to not feel too much that you're eating less and having less fuel for the gym. By eating less on your rest day, where you are resting, so you're not as active as on your training day, if you eat less, it will be much less impactful than if it was on a training day. So by doing that, I ensure to still have a deficit throughout the week, but to still have my kilocalories around the moments, which are the training, that count the most. And just like that, another kilo went by and it again improved a lot my look, and I was able to see which area were going to be a little problem, which are always the same for me. After another month of that, I reduced my kilocalories again, but this time on every day to about 3,000 to 3,200 kilocalories. And this removed again another kilogram, which brings me to my current shape, which is 82 to 83 kilograms if we do not account for the water fluctuating, and I'm about 7% body fat. So how do I know this? My estimation is that seeing the body shape that I have right now, the striation and everything, it looks like I'm around 7% body fat. It could be a tad more, it could be a little less. But my reasoning is also that if you take my lean mass at 86.5 kilograms, and I was at around 12% body fat, you do a little bit of math, you will find 76 kilogram and 0.16, something like that. And if you take 82 and you remove 7%, you will find 76.2. So basically the same. That's why I do believe I mostly lost fat in that cut, which is a huge success, obviously. And also why I did not suffer much strength loss. The only problems that I had with my strength were much more about high rep sets and also later down the road in the workout or at the end of the week with accumulated fatigue, meaning that I felt that I could not keep up because I just did not have fuel anymore, but the RPE itself or even the IR were basically the same. So I do believe that if I was in a rested condition and if I had just enough kilocalorie to be more optimized into my training intensity, it would be basically the same. But me, lighter. All of that sounds great, I know, but it all comes down to one simple thing, and is that if you want to do whatever, if it is a lean bulk or if it is a fat loss, it all comes down first and foremost to energy balance, okay? You can have a few tips and tricks and golden tidbits and strategy, but the brunt of the work is done by simply eating less. Step 2, smart programming. Alright, so during this cut, I tried something I didn't do in a long time, and that was to train in a PPL manner. Last time I did PPL was back into 2015, and I was doing a double PPL. If you have been a subscriber for a while, now remember into late 2023, my trainings with Luca. And Luca is a very advanced bodybuilder. He has 5 years more of training than me, and we make a day and night difference. And when I trained with him, each time it was basically some kind of modified PPL. And at that point, I was basically overreaching with my upper lower that I've done for like 3 years with sparkling of full body in and there. And I tried to get back into a progression momentum with full body training that you have seen, but it didn't make the cut. I was just not recovering fast enough, or my training was too hard. But at the same time, if my training was too easy, I didn't have the results that I usually have. So I thought, you know what? Let's give PPL a try again. And that's what I did. I made a modified version of it that is suitable for my goal. I used his very smart and knowledgeable approach to build my own training, and I also listened a lot to his advice. After a few weeks of getting accustomed back to this and to understand what type of frequency and new parameters I could have, it appears that changing to PPL, at least for now, was the right choice for several reasons. First one is quite obvious, and that is that PPL is way easier to recover from than a upper lower or half body and a full body. Since you are splitting the body part into more photo training workout, it is quite easier to go hard on some while letting the other recover. While full body is literally a shotgun in your body, and upper lower is like a refill shot, I guess. In fat loss, you have to be quite conservative, actually, with your training. Your goal is not necessarily to try and progress still, even though if you can do it, actually to try and keep up with the same type of strength levels that you have on different RM. So, for example, your goal is to drop body fat and kilogram with it, while keeping the same weight in the weight room in the same working sets that you have, which is obviously going to get harder as time went by because you're actually getting lighter, so it's more effort for you with your new shape, and also you have less energy. So you have to keep battling and have the same type of training quality with less. And that's why I think PPL really shined these last few weeks for me. It's because it is way easier to recover and to manage fatigue when you're not trying to go hard on everything, everywhere, all the time. Now, whatever the program is, there is one thing that is extremely key during a fat loss cut that you can maybe a little overlook when you're doing bulking, and that is the prehab aspect. When you're in the bulking, you are recovering just fine, you are eating as much as you want, you are not training exceptionally hard regarding your fueling workouts with the food and everything. But in fat loss, there is literally no margin for error, or it's very, very thin. So there is no reason for you, while you're doing fat loss, to skip onto your knee prehabbing exercise, your rotator cuff prehabbing exercise, your low back, strengthening your core thing, your stretches, your spinal decompression, and so on and so forth. Whoever you are, whatever you're doing training split-wise, you do your L-fly, you'll do your T-brace raises, you'll do your little forearm isolation, you will do your face pull, you will do your leg curls, you will do your calves, you will do your back extension, you will do your crunches, you will work every tiny little muscle to make sure that you are not getting fragile here and there. Step 3, NEAT and cardio. I didn't do much cardio at all. Actually, since I'm pretty lean already, cardio is just another lever or another option for you to increase the caloric deficit or the energy balance, as we say. So of course it is very healthy to do it, but it is also very easily overdone when you're doing a fat loss, because you're already getting your fuel off reserve. And remember, the goal is to get lean without wrecking your health. So, NEAT and cardio, how to measure them. There is one type of cardio which is actually magical, and it's so magical that it needs an entire video just to explain to you how amazing it is, and that is walking. Walking is the best form of cardio when your natural bodybuilder wants to get shredded, and here is why. First and foremost, are you tired of walking compared to doing biking or combat sports or HIIT or circuit or swimming or running, any kind of other cardio? Walking is easy. Walking will not wreck your recovery. Walking will actually get you more moving, lubricate your joint better. It will be literally active recovery for the hips, the low back, the knees, the ankles, make you go outside, or at least if you're not doing it on a treadmill, it would be very good. And it also helps with digestion. So when you're not losing fat anymore, what can you do? Simply walk more. Walking will be your best form of cardio. The only real drawback with walking is the time that it takes. That's it. But simply increasing your step daily will make a day and night difference with your conditioning. First, because it boosts circulation, as we said earlier, but also because it drops body fat without even trying, which is the real culprit here. It needs to be easy. It needs to not wreck your recovery, because you're already on reserve, you're already lacking fuel, and you still need to go extra hard in a way. You do not really much of a choice when you're doing a real fat loss than to go for the easiest mode when doing cardio. If you can go with harder cardio variation, sure, go for it. But what makes more sense? Keeping your energy and keeping your recovery to the max for you to go hard when it's time to do leg day, or it's time to do a very heavy press, or pull up or deadlift, or go really hard with your cardio, getting tired, and still the next day or the following day, whatever, you have to go really hard onto a training workout that is supposed to make you look good. Which is it? You see, That's this type of logic that you need to have in fat loss. Be as conservative as possible and only tweak here and there with your diet, and then with the NEAT, and then with the cardio. Now, you may have spotted that I split both NEAT and cardio, and that is because cardio is different from NEAT. NEAT is not necessarily exercise. Actually, NEAT means non-exercise activity thermogenesis, meaning that you will move your body around, you will do stuff, but it's not considered physical activity. It's not considered sport or exercise. For example, walking your dog is not cardio. It's not an exercise. Doing the chores around your house will make you move around, but it's not physical training. It's not a workout, but you're still moving around. It's NEAT. The goal here is to understand that you have these two options for you in order to better work. The first one with NEAT is to simply increase it more. Now, cardio is also a very good and stable tool that you can have with your fat loss, but you just need to be more careful to not hinder your recovery. Step 4, smart supplementation. Okay, before saying anything else, I will just remind you that the name is supplement, meaning they are going to supplement. They are going to be an addition. You do not need them. It's cool to have them. It's an extra help, an extra boost, but they are not something that you are obliged to consume. Please do not try to copy me, or do not think you absolutely need to copy me to have results. All right? Now, supplements, they are extremely good for you. They are even more important, in my opinion, during a fat loss than during a bulk or even a maintenance mode. When you're doing a bulk or you're doing a maintenance, you have every supposedly fuel and food that you need. So you have your micro intake as well. In order to get this micro, you need to eat. If you eat less during your fat loss, you're going to have less micro in your diet. So if there is a real good time to take a supplement, it's now, when you're doing a fat loss. And most of them should be geared toward your health, toward your well-being, and toward recovery. I'm going to give you a list of what I prefer to use. So first one is vitamin D3, which is something that you normally get from sun, but let's just say that you have not the possibility to go outside almost naked and to synthesize a lot year round, you will be deficient. So if there is one good way to correct that, is by supplementation. It's actually a pro-hormone. It's correlated with many things like brain health, heart health, libido, muscle power output, recovery, bone function. It is also something that is heavily implied to help into other endogenous hormone production, such as testosterone, for example. So it's very good for you. This is a good time to take it. Creatine, which is the bodybuilding supplement that everyone should use for a boatload of reasons. First one, more power output. Second, easier and faster recovery, and easier time to get through a high workload, and more water into the muscle, which will lead to higher resistance during training. Plus, an anti-aging effect on your brain, an anti-aging effect on your heart, and also an anti-effect on T cells, which are the cells that will get you potentially cancer. So creatine is amazing. You should take it. And if there is one supplement you should take, this is the one. Zinc, B6 and magnesium, commonly called ZMA or ZMB. It's three micros that are blending together because they synergize all together. Zinc is a powerful antioxidant and a powerful anti-inflammatory. It boosts testosterone when you do not have enough, and it is a cofactor in a lot of reactions that your body is doing. So you should definitely check it out if you're not eating a boatload of meat, especially red meat. B6 is a vitamin that is basically anti-stress. It is an antagonist to aromatase, estrogen, and to prolactin, which are stress hormones. So if you have too much of these, which can really happen into your fat loss phase, amongst with cortisol rising, this one will help you keep them in check while supporting healthier androgenic side of your body. Plus making sure your androgen receptor are working properly. And finally, magnesium. Magnesium is a myorelaxant, so it will help you with stiffness, with cramp, with soreness. It will help you with sleep, and sleep quality is paramount when you're doing a fat loss, as it is a huge recovery aspect. And it will also boost your testosterone, support it if you are deficient into this micro. Glycine, which is an amino acid, which is extremely good and paramount into collagen synthesis, which is great for gut health, for inflammation, for sleep, for brain health, for a lot of things. So either you're getting a lot of bone growth, or you are supplementing with collagen, or you need to have some glycine. Trust me, it will be fantastic for your joint. And finally, speaking of joint, glucosamine and chondroitin mix, these two are prone material for your joint to recover. And when I mean joint, I mean everything in a joint. I mean tendon, ligament, cartilage, joint capsule, like everything. They also help with synovia synthesis, which is the kind of liquid that will lubricate your joint, which is what you are trying to actually get more liquid when you warm up to avoid any kind of necessary stress and wear and tear on your joint. Getting this will help you actually make your joint much more resistant to effort, much more resistant to shock, trauma, etc., but also help them recover better. Little bonus one that I have for you would be muscle pump, which is a pre-workout from my sponsor. So I'm not a huge fan of pre-workouts. They always make me extremely agitated, jittery, and aggressive, and also it messes with my guts. So not a big fan of pre-workout. In 4 years, all I did was just take fruits with a coffee and whey in my coffee. But actually this one is really great, and the reason why is that it will help with the pump, and at some point it's a day and night difference, actually with workouts that I'm doing since a few years now. And also there is a mix of BCA that will be basically anti-fatigue. So I will handle much better my workout, and I will recover a tad better from them. If you do not have access to my sponsors, or if you are outside of Europe, what I recommend you do is try to have a pre-workout that is caffeine free, or just take a coffee, but not caffeine and need. Inside caffeine anhydrous, I guess in English. Do not take creatine as well. It can be hypoglycemia agent for some of us. Just try to have something that will help you with the pump, the focus, and the fatigue. So it will be things like citrulline, arginine, BCA mix, yet again, so leucine, isoleucine, and valine. For the focus thing, I guess most of these would be having the L-theanine thing. Just try and find one that is good for you if you do not have access to the one I just told you about. And step 5, you will have to embrace the suck. A fat loss is funny at first, and then you kind of see the difference when you were eating as much as you want, because you do not recover as best. You really need to be thorough with your warm-up, you need to be focused, you need to be careful when how much and how well you sleep. All these things really snowball into the quality of your workout and your physical transformation. So you do not need to go extra hard with your fat loss if all you need to achieve and want is basically my shape, which is like beach body lean. You just need to commit to it and embrace the fact that it's going to sometime suck. And by that I mean you cannot have a cheat meal. You will be much better off doing carb loading or a refeed. You will be much better off doing a good 8 to 9 hour night of sleep instead of, I don't know, playing with your bros or going out and night clubbing, for example, and so on and so forth. Even though it's still not that hard on your body, it's not like you're preparing for a show or you're trying to be extremely peeled to the bone, it's still going to suck at some point. And in this moment, you really need to feel and think like a machine. You need to think as that training is your duty, and you need to do it, period. You need to see that diet and food is just fuel, and you need to eat it, whatever it is, how much it is, and hunger is just an information. And sometimes you will be a little hungry. If you're hungry, you just drink some water or you do some coffee, and that's it. I do not believe it will happen to most of you, because I never have been struck by hunger right now, except for the 2 last weeks where I kind of felt like, okay, I'm getting really lean. It's going to be a little harder than when I was 4 kilo heavier. But it's not that bad, okay? It's not that bad. The moment it starts to get bad, it's actually when you really are digging into what your body has that you need to remove, actually. So without going to go with the very toxic, it's you want it or not, or no pain, no gain, and blah, blah, blah. I'm not here to do that. Just want you to understand that a fat loss is rarely easy. And sometimes there will be days where you will feel down and bad, and you still need to carry on. And there are some days you will wake up and see yourself in the mirror and be like, damn, I look amazing, okay? So keep the plan, stick to it, walk the walk, talk the talk, and everything will be fine. And do understand that the moment you have the conditions that you want, it's quite easier to maintain these conditions than to try and dig further away, or exactly the same principle when you're doing a bulk, to push the envelope and to get even bigger. So that's about it for me. I really hope this video was enjoyable and informative for you. I really hope it motivates you. Make sure to check out my services and my ebooks if you're interested in coaching and learning more about these things. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you soon for another video. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.